This video is sponsored by TameDog. Are you tired of having limited options and questionable quality when sleeving up your best decks? Worry not. TameDog sleeves are designed right here in Colorado, USA, made by players for players. They shuffle smoother and fit better than anything else on the market. A portion of each sale goes towards helping animals in need, and you can use promo code EBAM to save 5% off any order when you check them out at tamedog.store.
Hello everyone, I'm Thomas and this is Everyone is Bad at Magic, where we untap, upkeep, and punt. And today I'm joined by everyone's favorite counselors at Camp CDH. One might buy you a beer, and the other will teach you to climb. But both will teach you how to be a man. We have Eric from Critical EDH and Yahhhhh from That's a Good Card podcast. Would you guys take a moment to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I could go first. I started cutting my teeth with CH content creation with Logan on Critical EDH, especially just talking about like tournament breakdowns and stuff like that. And so one of the early videos we did there was actually us brewing a TNT list. But if you go back and view the video, there's a couple notable spells that we forgot. I think we forgot to put in silence as well as all of the shocks. But since then, I've had the huge pleasure of getting to travel to tournaments. And then lately, I've been doing a lot of casting as well. And so I not only enjoy getting to see CDH played at its highest, most competitive level, but I also love how so much of the work that goes into being a good CDH player is done in the brew space. So I think Moxfield is I probably leave more comments on people's like Moxfield lists than I have ever left on like Facebook and Twitter combined.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about yourself too?
Hey, my name is Yahhhhh. I'm from one half of a podcast called That's a Good Card, where we talk about fringe cards that you may or may not be playing in CDH. I'm here because I think Thomas caught me at the water cooler and asked me to just come on. I'm just excited to be here, and we get to talk about a really fringe commander pairing today. If I can spoil a little bit here, so I'm really excited about this.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. I don't think we could have done this with a better crew. The decks are sick. The vibes are immaculate. I am so stoked to be here. There's nothing I've wanted to do more this week than just come back together and talk about the brews. But we're going to hold off for just a quick second. Eric, you and I are doing something this weekend that I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Just got to shout it out. Eric is casting the siege with Hire, and I'm working a little bit behind the scenes as well with Isaac from Squandering Resources, if you haven't checked them out. And we're both working with MTG Basics for the siege.
So cool.
If you have some spare time this weekend, tune in. Eric did some amazing casting work at the Quest,
Oh,
and
that's very kind.
oh, dude.
Don't before you move on. Okay, it's well, we already have to add Thomas to the liar list. Add him to the list. He said he will be doing a little bit of work behind the scenes. But from what I've seen, Thomas, you've already done a lot of work behind the scenes. And so anything that happens day of the siege is just gonna be the rest of us catching up to everything you've been planning on. So but yeah, it was awesome getting to cast the Quest and Land Go open with a comedian. Both were super duper fun events, and then also continues to remind me of the importance of having technical staff there, because the amount of times something would go wrong, I'd just sit there like looking around like, man, I'm sure someone here knows what they're doing because I don't.
An adult would be great right about now. Yeah.
And so both times it's Hazen from Squandered Resources was with it at the Quest, and then Jorman was helping us out at Nashville. But in the same spirit of this podcast of us all come together to try and make something interesting about a potentially Temur shell. Events like the siege coming up never happen by any one person. It's definitely a team pulling them off, but also it requires people to show up to it. So definitely come be a part of a huge tournament in Colorado. It's if you need a place to like stay, guaranteed there's an event Discord in the Crit League as well. So like, or if like you just, oh, I really want to go, but I don't know if I'd have anything fun to do on Friday. Are there even like any Magic stores that play Magic there? I'm just gonna be bored in my hotel room. There's a million different reasons to come to the siege. So uh
LobbyCon's sold out already.
already?
Already.
Wow. Whoa.
Ready?
Okay.
Jeez.
So I'm sure there will be a second one firing at one of the other stores though. So
Awesome.
Yeah, no doubt.
awesome. Well, please come hang out with us. It's going to be a great time. We're going to jump off on one of our favorite sessions here, the Punters Confessional. Homies, have either of you punted in the recent past?
Oh yeah, I had a huge putt. It was I was just playing kind of like a Grixis control shell, and I was all warmed up. I had a full grip of counter spells, including some of the more like really valuable ones like Commandeer and Mind Break Trap. And there was a Dardu player that went for a really aggressive Necro line. I was expecting them to try and do like a Ruthless Technomancer because it's usually a little bit more difficult to interact with, but just an absolute naked Necropotent sprawled out on the sheets in front of me. And it didn't occur to me that I was like, oh, I can just commandeer this Necro and then pump 30 life into it, and then I can be the one winning. Instead, I was like, oh man, this is like a powerful spell. I can't let Dardu have this. And it was so interesting to me the way that like I'm not a very good Necro player. It's still something I'm working and improving at as a CDH player. But part of what I think is really important to be a good Necro player is flexibility and improvisation. And to indicate my lack of improvisation, I wasn't even able to look at a handful of counter spells and be like, this is going to be the freest Born Upon a Win of my life. And instead, I was like, I can't let this resolve. And then instead of like getting this like huge burst of card advantage of being like the dominant position at the table, I just continued to a little bit too passively, a little bit too reactively interact with the table. And I just got outvalued. And then looking back, I was like, what was one of the biggest pivot points I could have made in that game? 2 of 1. And the Dardu player was like, I mean, you definitely could have commandeered my Necro. It's kind of weird that you did it. I was like, base take. So that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that's some that's a classic. I mean, sometimes you just get in your own head and like miss the line that might be there, and just yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. Yeah, do you got anything for us today?
Yeah. So, as some people know in my life that I play Magic with, I've been really high on Bridget lately. Bridget, whatever.
Yeah, you got like a 50% win rate right now, bud. How do you have a punt on here?
Because
it could have been 75.
Because as simple as a deck, yeah, it could be 75. I could be much higher. I've actually punted a few times just as I learned the deck, right? Like the simplest things, right? Like and I think it's so relatable to most people. Is like Bridget, if people aren't familiar, it's basically Cradle on a stick for other creatures that you control, right? It makes green or white, one or the other. It does not count itself. And then you have to remember your own trigger to flip Bridget, right? You could have assembled Exodia, but if you forget your own trigger and you try to move into, tapping her, people can go, hey, you can't tap her. Wait, why? Oh, you never transformed her. It's like the simplest thing in the world. Remember your own triggers, kids. And then also the bane of most CEDH players existence is like math. Simple math. There are a couple ways to go infinite with Bridget, and like there's a card called Seed Cradle Witch, but like the one that is very common for most people if they've ever played Selvala is like a card called Umbral Mantle. You just need 4 creatures, right? 4 other creatures besides Bridget. So 5 creatures altogether. 3 of them will make the mana to untap Bridget through Umbral Mantle, with 1 extra to make infinite mana. Instead, I presented infinite taps and untaps of Bridget because I keep forgetting that Bridget doesn't count herself. So I counted to 4, which is correct, but I needed 5.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, since that's a mana ability, isn't that uninterruptible too? So you would uninterruptible taps and untaps?
The untap is a activated ability still. It isn't
Uh,
like a Pilipala, which is like an untap where that's a mana ability, as well as like potentially tapping it with like a Kinnin and a Bambi, enduring vitality, right? Like that can make like infinite mana and is a mana ability that nobody can interact with. This has an interaction point of the untap, just like a basalt monolith, right? It's
Hmm.
the untap.
Good to know. Um, well, our good
Interesting.
friend Wayne has a coin on his board, on their board, and
Yeah.
every time they play a land, they flip it to indicate they played a new one. Maybe you should introduce some sort of
Oh,
board
I
mechanics.
immediately did that. I thought about that moment. I thought about what they did as a tip, and it's something I have now implemented. I've only forgotten one more time since then.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
But you know, this is why you keep playing a deck, and hopefully, I keep playing this one. I'm really enjoying it.
It's
I love
really cool. It's so cool.
it. I love Selesnius getting a moment. It feels like a while since they've had a real deck. Well, I've still been on my Kadama Thrasios kick. Thanks,
Nice.
Logan, for pushing me down that pathway. And I am still punting on this deck. I was playing in a game at locals like 2 weeks ago, maybe last week. Time is an illusion, who knows? Um, and I had win on board. I had a tutor, I think it was a finale, maybe it was a Green Suns. It wasn't something that I could recur like a Nature's Rhythm. Um, and I went to go get so I had an Boro Palace of the Clouds on the battlefield, so I have my land that
Okay.
I can
Okay.
bounce
Yeah.
infinitely. I had my Kadama on the board already. I had a Lotus Cobra and make myself infinite mana. I just needed something to make tokens so that I could get my infinite Kadama triggers.
Mhm.
Um, I had like 7 creatures on the board and a cradle on board too, and I got cute with it. I went and got my tireless provisioner, and it
Uh,
created a moment of interaction for the Kinnan player because
Uh,
they were representing something and they were very much telegraphing it. And I figured this is something that's hard to interact with. Not when they have a Talon Gates. Um, if I
Oh,
had
so
gone, yeah,
brutal.
yeah, I should have just gone the Oboro Breeze Caller. It's just not something that I'm super comfortable with. I never played
Mm.
Rogthras, and I
mhm.
need to go for the simpler lines. So that's my punt is just getting in my own way with cute lines instead of the simple tried and trues where I could have activated on top of and on top of. So it's a small punt, but it cost me the game. It's something I'm going to learn from for future games.
Yeah, that's something I think that's like one of the most important areas to like give ourselves grace is like losses are some of the most important teachers we have access to as CDH players. And especially with kind of complicated decks like lands isn't an archetype that we see a ton of in CDH. When I talk to like Lumra players, something that we'll often commiserate about is that most of the losses happen on the drive home when you're thinking back over the games and you realize like I could have won. Like, am I just stupid, or am I just doing things that a stupid person would do? like it's really easy to just rake yourself over the coals. But like I'm trying really hard as a CDH player to really like visualize and practice. Like you can pick any number. There's 1,000 games.
Mhm.
There's 1,000 games and 1,000 mistakes you have to make on Thrasios Kodama, and you can't shortcut it. As CDH players, we know better than anyone else that there's only so many things you can shortcut. But boy, does it feel brutal when you're like, "Wow, I could have won with one of the most prominent combos in our format right now," and instead I went for Tireless Provisioner.
I would not trade those next day losses for anything though, because those are the ones that really stick with you and you'll be thinking about for months, as opposed to just something like, oh, yeah, no, I see that in the moment and I can just move past it. I like those ones that stick with you and linger
Yeah.
and you lose sleep over because those get drilled real deep in your head.
I agree. I agree. I have a buddy that always says lose is improve, and it's something I always think about. quite often, right? We lose a lot, and if we learn something from it, it makes it a lot less painful. But I've definitely woken up at 3 in the morning and gone, "Oh my gosh, that was the line."
That was the line. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. Hopefully, we can all get a little bit better at the game through them. Um, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We all built a certain pirate pair, Malcolm Tana. Um, this all came together based off of a little conversation actually in the back rooms of That's a Good Card podcast Discord. Go and subscribe if you have not already. It's a great time over there. Where we were looking at some really suspect cards, and I brought up, I think, Oath of Druids. It's like, wait, but I really want to play Oath of Druids. Can we make that work in CDH? Uh, Spoiler, I don't know. Probably not. But this partner pairing really spoke to me for that. And Eric and Ya were very kind to go down this rabbit hole with me, and we each kind of broke up this partner pairing into its base two-color pairings, if you will, with a splash. So I took the Is It color pairing. I believe that Eric took Simic, Bake Simic, and Ya went base Gruel, and we're not going to hold anybody to that. That was just like our philosophy because we did not brew these together. We brewed these separately over the last few weeks, and we're kind of surprising each other with these lists, and we're going to break them down and see if we can come together and find a deck we like best. And we're actually going to be starting with Eric's list today. Dwarf cosplays as pirate. Oh, sorry. No, we're starting with Ya
That's
today.
me.
Yeah.
Ya, why don't you tell us a little bit about your thought process behind brewing this deck, and we'll go into it.
I'm gonna keep it real simple in terms of my thought process. I guess well, not no. This is no surprise. It's actually not that simple. I went ahead this time and I went ahead and got a template, right? So I took a pretty well performing list and went, you know what I could do? I could make this list worse, right? And so I started pulling out from that list. But like I kind of really like the structure of playing like a biotech specialist. And then I decided I'm just going to try to build Secret Commander Magda.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm not super familiar with the base list. That is something that I am actually lacking. What does Biotech Specialist do in this list?
So Biotech Specialist was a card I think was really cool, right? So with a right in Temur Pirates or in a lot of pirate lists that revolve around Malcolm, especially if it includes red, we're trying to make pirates that do damage, and then that damage will hopefully trigger more damage, like trigger something to like make a usually an artifact so it comes in. And so Biotech Specialist is one of those things. It's a lot like a Glinthorn Buccaneer. So Biotech Specialist is that whenever I sacrifice an artifact in this case, it can deal 2 damage to target opponent. And then that'll make another treasure that you can sacrifice and then ad nauseum kind of do this. And even if somebody has protection, you can wait until they're as long as you have a couple of treasures or foods, even if you really needed to sacrifice to start a chain going again. The only thing a biotech specialist would need is some kind of what's the word that people like to use, like a ley line of transformation, master nexus,
like a hack.
like-
I think like
That's it, that's the
HACK.
word.
Yeah.
So
like
like
a
your
hack
artifact.
effect, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
some kind of
Heard.
hack to change or make these non-pirate creatures into pirates.
Heard. Okay, very cool. Sorry for the interruption. Please
No, you're
continue.
good. And so, since we're already in these, playing these hack effects, one of my very first CEDH decks that I took a little bit more seriously and tried to take to tournaments just because it was monocolored. I didn't have to worry about interaction, but then I learned that stacks is like really like actually more complicated than just running counter spells in a lot of ways. Oh my god, there's a dog. I'm so sorry. Okay, focus. Magda already can kind of, once you create treasures, which I've played Malcolm Vile in the past, and treasures is actually really easy to come by. Right. And what I liked about green is all of these tutor to boards type of effects, like your nature's rhythms, your neoforms, green sun zenith. I think you two are playing a different one. Leaned into this new card called Celestial Reunion, where you can behold certain creature types to either bring it to hand if you can't actually behold, or if you can behold at least two of that type, you can put it straight onto the battlefield. And so just kind of looking to lean into green's ability to bring creatures out, and then by the time your opponents realize that they're in danger, it's sometimes too little too late. And so with Magda being able to tutor out a bunch of things, specifically the Maskwood Nexus, which is an artifact that makes every creature you control into every creature type, and then the same thing is true for all creatures in your library or in that aren't on the battlefield. And so this is probably not played as much because it's a little bit less efficient. You can kind of see it coming, but I just really like being able to kill the table with Magda activations of going infinite with a roaming throne Magda, and Clock of Omens. After you've gone infinite, you can then just find a Battletech specialist, which is now already a dragon and a pirate, to then just kill the table with honestly just putting so many Magda activations on the stack right at instant speed, because you're sacking 5 treasures to do that, and then Biotech specialists will see those 5 sacrifices and ping somebody for 10 or multiple people for 10. And so you can kind of really go for it. And I just really like that. I love Magda. This is low to the ground, but you still got other ways of winning. You've still got your Glinthorn Buccaneer line. And then I really love playing this creature that's 3 costs called Lightning Rig Crew. Right.
Oh,
That's
Lightning
one
Rig
that
Crew is awesome.
it's such an awesome card. Any reason I can find to play it is something I really look forward to. It people kind of know, but then until they see you make 3 treasures when you tap it, they go, well, oh, right. And so getting to the 5 treasures is not that difficult, right? Once you can get Malcolm out, but I like just being able to like set up, and hopefully a Rogsire, a Nala player, a Tali player pushes first and leaves you open to go for it right after.
Okay. You know what card actually might slap here? Marvin Murderous Mimic.
Yeah, I did think about that for a while, and I was thinking that it would be really nice just because it's just 2 costs and kind of comes out and can sit there. And most people don't really think about it again until it's like too late. And I really do like that card, but I've never really found myself in decks where I've run it, like gone to look for it. I know it's a real popular one in Sisse, but I kind of want to say that's where most people like. I may be in an Urza list, but I don't know if it's in most people's Urza list either.
Oh, Glamour Gifter's pretty cool in here.
Yeah, that's like one of it became a staple on arrival. It's very good.
So good.
Very difficult to interact with. It's also like repeatable. Like it's not that hard if you like want to chain a vapor right back to hand or something. If someone goes to respond to the ETB trigger, you can get real quirky real fast with it.
That's sick.
I did have a couple cards that I think might be really really good fits here, but I will caution it by saying I have no idea what you would cut. So I don't know. Maybe if you're going to a tournament without deck checks. The first one that stands out is a card that has been really overperforming for me is Curse of Opulence. I think you're already pretty consistently looking to try and go to combat to make treasures. But also a side effect that I've really been enjoying about the card is that instead of like placing it on the turbo player to like make sure they have less life for necroing. Lately, what I've been doing is like if there's like a Shorekai like at the table, I'll attach it to them because you want to be getting them to like cards out of hands, and so they're not able to like sit back. Because I feel like in Temur, you need like you need someone else to also be going for it. Otherwise, you're just gonna get like force of willed from orbit.
Yeah, yeah, agree. I agree.
So you're saying that you're not sure what to cut here? I genuinely don't think you need the Kiki lines in here. You have so many layered combos that are going in a specific direction. It feels like the Kiki package is just pulling you in the other direction, and it feels like kind of
I
an
don't disagree with
unnatural
that at all.
split.
I don't
So
disagree with that at all. I
I
mean,
think
once I started going down this route, sorry to cut you off. Like, I think I didn't really try to cut out too much, right? Like, I was just trying to cram my stuff in a little bit. But if I were to actually print this out, I agree with you. I'd cut that. I'd cut the 5 cost Kiki Jiki, and I love Kiki Jiki, but I cut that real quick.
yeah,
Yeah.
that and quarter monitor. So sorry,
I
Eric, go
would
ahead.
probably replace those two with liquid metal torque and cursed mirror. I think those
Ooh,
are
hot.
things that naturally are going to synergize really, really well with the Magda package. But also, like, if you wanted to, you can just with liquid metal torque, lightning rig, Malcolm, and curse of omens. I say just and then name 4 permanents. Uh, by turning lightning rig right into an artifact, and the fact that you're creating
Ooh,
3 artifacts every time you tap it.
oh,
Uh, like
that's pretty cool.
cursed mirror I also think could kind of be that Marvin murderous mimic effect, but also there's a lot of things that if you kind of double up on them, they kind of like automatically go on them instant on their own. I just think those are two ways that like um I think liquid metal torque, this is also going to be fringe AF, but like it also is going to make you like a lot better into like random matchups. Like you're going to be able to turn planeswalkers into artifacts so you can hit them with Beseju, that kind of stuff. So especially being more like turbo oriented, you want to make sure that like the interaction you have hits more things. And so once again, that's like incredibly fringe. The amount of times you're going to liquid metal torque like a 3 fairy so you can Beseju it is probably like once in a lifetime experience. But I do think that like since you're already doing this kind of like artifact combo things, I think I would very much agree with Thomas, is that like I think Liquid Metal Torque and Curse Mirror are going to open up your ability to win at instant speed out of nowhere a lot more than Pod or Kiki Jiki lines will.
I agree. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
These are great. These are great.
I also think Allosaurus Shepherd, while I do think is an incredibly strong card, your green
Yeah.
count's very low for it. That might
Yeah.
not be your best protection piece here, when you could just be on maybe Autumn's Veil instead.
Shore Shepherd is that one of those poor cards I feel like is always on, like, you call them up for tryouts, you pull them out of the minors and they come in, they play like, and they're pretty good, but then like they have a few games where you're like, and then they get sent back to the minors. That's Shore Shepherd for me.
Yeah.
I won't cast my Lightning Recruit. What's Allosaurus Shepherd gonna do for that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You're right.
I think having seen this list in action, the most consistent thing Alsor Shepherd is going to do is not going to be like protect your formidable speaker. It's more than like going to be protecting like a finale or a nature's.
Yeah.
But the I don't think that counter spells are usually where this list is most fragile. Since they're creature combos which are difficult to interact with, like you'll tend to see Malcolm pilots gravitate towards those a little bit more. But that also means that the CDH meta is aware that like you just have to wait until like the first Glinthorn activation is on the stack, respond before there's any Malcolm triggers. And then like just hit with like a snapback or something like that. And so I think that would definitely be like a local meta call. Like if you've got like Italian player that's super trigger happy and you don't feel like Paul taking them out of it, maybe. But yeah, if I were looking to like dismantle this list, I would let the finale of Devastation resolve, and then I'd be like Chain of Vapor, not a worry.
Chain of Vapor. I love it.
Awesome. I think this is a cool list, yeah. I would be excited to see it played.
It's so cool. This is like I think one of the best secret Magda lists I've seen. I think I would put this in contention with like Timna Dargo. And that list is able to get Bolus's Citadel. So that saying something.
All right, guys. Any final notes on this before we move on to our next list?
I just really enjoyed kind of doing this, and it was exciting for me to know that you two were also brewing a version of this list. And so, my dream has always been to go to a tournament with like one list that everybody worked on kind of separately, but this together, and then see if like you can kind of meet up in the middle somewhere at a final table. It's kind of how Eric and I really got to know each other with doing this, and so it was fun to do this knowing that we had quote unquote an assignment to
Yeah.
come talk about it. So no, I really enjoyed doing this.
Well, you get an A+ for doing your homework.
Thanks, bud.
It's participation trophy time
Hey,
here.
that's fine.
Oh.
I'm from the 80s, 90s. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Up next, we have moss doesn't only grow on the north sides of trees because I'm incapable of naming my decks anything other than something that sounds like an emo song from the late 2000s.
Oh yeah.
Goated.
Uh, and like I said, this is an Oath of Druids deck. This is a polymorph deck. We have 3 creatures total. Glinthorn Buccaneer, for obvious reasons. Niv Mizzet, because Niv Mizzet in a trench coat is
Dude, this
something
is
that
so
I
cool.
enjoy. But most importantly, and probably the main target I want to hit, is Prismari the Inspiration. I was playing a ton of Standard around the time I was brewing this deck.
Oh,
And
heck yeah.
yeah, one of my favorite things to do in Standard is play Rile Crackling Wit. And it turns out if you give everything Storm, you
Oof.
win. That's it. Like the game is over. There's nothing that anyone can do. So the idea of cheating that into play is extremely attractive to me. So like I said earlier, we leaned into the is it side of things. We're on 15 sorceries. We're on 33 instants. This
Wild.
might be a little bit of riled out deck, if I'm honest. We have a lot of dig spells. We have a lot of things that make treasures and mana. We have Gaia's Blessing, vintage All-Star. So anytime
It's way too cheap to be a vintage card.
this is a vintage card. This is for sure a vintage card. But whenever this goes into a graveyard from your library, graveyard into your library. So it basically makes it bottomless if one of your many polymorph spells or your Oath of Druids fizzles, or you can just basically get your library back and keep digging through with all of your cantrips. Um, and then basically we're on things like Bring to Light, Gamble, to get our breaches, get our glint horns if we need to. And yeah, we're aiming to close the game out with Breach, and we're just digging till we get there. Um, it's a pretty simple package with artifacts. We have all of our curiosity effects. We get to run Keen Sense, which is always really nice. You don't usually get that in a Niv Mizzet in a trench coat, which I've always liked to imagine as 2 little goblins in a trench coat with the Niv Mizzet like hat on top. Don't judge me. I know who I am.
I know what I'm
And
about.
the one thing that is not Raldoc deck is I can't run in the irresponsible land package. We are on 27 lands.
That's very responsible of you.
Yeah, we're an adult. It's 25 and like 20 land packages. Those are for kids.
Malcolm Tana for adults.
For adults. We pay a
Malcolm
mortgage
Tana
with this
after
list.
dark.
We go to bed at 9.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Um,
I love a good polymorph deck. Have you played one before? Have you done like Urza or Malcolm Kedis or
No, this is a first for me. And this was all because of Oath the Druids. I think this card is just so freaking cool.
very
And
cool?
for those who haven't played with an Oath of Druids or seen it, it is actually a vintage staple. Not like a tier 1 deck by any means, but if any other opponent controls one more creature than you, essentially, in your upkeep, you reveal cards until you put a creature into play. And that's how we get uh, our dragons or Glinthorn. And that's why we run Forbidden Orchard. Yeah.
That's so good. That's so fun. Ah.
This is such a cool list, Thomas. I love how different you went than, but honestly, the both of us, right? Like you had a vision and you executed. And my only critique so far,
Mhm.
not critique, suggestion is if you decide to change the name, could I make a suggestion?
Oh, of course.
Put on some pants your dragons are showing.
That's fun.
Okay, where's that
Because you
coming
went with
from?
the bottomless, yeah, you went with the bottomless kind of idea, and
That's
you have
so
just 2
good.
dragons. That's
so
it. Like
good.
you know how my mind works. This is where we went. But
Put
I
on your
really like this,
pants. Your
right?
dragons are showing.
Your interaction package here is
I
deep.
thought you were
Like,
gonna
I
go
do
with
not want to
Panther
play with
Dragon,
this.
like Ender's
Oh,
Game.
that's funny.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
so
that's
good.
good. That's good. That's a
Uh,
World of Tanks reference.
but yeah, I just don't want to lose the game until I can win it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a control deck for sure. But yeah, there's not too much else to it, and I'm not really sure what else I would really change here.
Do you need the hack effects?
Uh, no, I guess I don't. I
I was gonna
was,
ask, like, is it really necessary for you once you have Niv Mizzet out for him to be? I mean, I guess you could double dip into
I,
uh but like chances of you getting Niv as well as like Malcolm surviving, right, off of a polymorph are maybe less so, right?
yeah, no, I guess I can just cut the hack effects. So I did have a more
Or one?
robust creature package earlier on,
But if you're going to be on polymorph,
but
it makes sense to
Yeah.
be as low as
yeah,
possible.
I think
uh,
I think it would I think if you wanted to, you definitely could stay on one because then um uh I think sometimes it's helpful like when like a Niv man lands, one player's gonna say, okay, I could see it, and another player's gonna say, whoa. No, I think I can fight through this. And then sometimes it's helpful to say like I have a hack effect and curiosity effects. I will respond on top of everything you do. I'll make infinite mana. I'll draw infinite cards. I have Gaia's Blessing. Um, does anyone else here have infinite mana? No. Anyone else have access to? No. You guys only have the cards in hand available. Okay. Yeah, you should concede.
yeah.
And I think having cards in there that kind of like expedite that process can be very, very helpful. But also, I think like all three of the hits are absolute bangers already. Uh, and if it, my experience playing Polymorph VV because I was on both the Niv Mizzets, but also Tide Spout and Hullbreaker Horror. And I kept finding myself in situations where I would have a polymorph effect, but a hand that would only play towards like one half of like the dragons or like the Hullbreaker thing.
Yeah,
And I never wanted to uh resolving a polymorph and then feeling bad when it hits a Tidespout Tyrant is a really weird space to be mentally. And I wonder if you might end up that way with the hacks, but also I just love how much you're going to be casting spells. And I think having some of those like dig spells, like for instance, Opera Love Song, I think stands out a
so
lot.
good.
Like if you're able to resolve that with like a Prismari out, right? And then cast like Strike It Rich for Storm equals like 9 or something like that. Um this is so cool. I love a good polymorph list.
Yeah, I actually am going to take you both to heart on that. I don't think I need the hack spells at all here, and I think it might just be better to get more mana because that's really where I feel like this deck is a bit lacking is permanent mana to get set up
Hmm.
early. In gold fishing, this wasn't really coming online until turn 3, but was able to defend itself until there with a decent amount of counter magic. So,
That makes sense.
yeah.
I think
Um,
the more we talk, the only thing I would say, the more I talk, the more I kind of think about it. I would almost even say you may want to cut Glinthorn. And I'll start out off by asking, like, of your commanders, which one are you going to cast more often first?
Malcolm.
Right. And so if you're going to
oh.
polymorph, if you end up
Mm,
polymorphing, you'll end up polymorphing Malcolm. And then if you hit Glinthorn first, you have your combo, but you've also just gotten rid of your combo.
That's so
Right.
true.
that's,
Right.
you're
Like, and
not
so you
wrong.
That's
may
such a
want to
good
be off
point.
of that or change your play pattern so that it's start off with Tana first, which is kind of like against the not against, but like it isn't the main plan because then like you could try to go to combat and then sacrifice a sapperling, right?
That
To
puts you back like
to
a whole turn
it
too.
does. And
Yeah.
so and so it's kind of like one or the other here. I see what you're doing, and it almost you do get into. I think there are going to be games where you run into this really weird, like, okay, I'm going to polymorph Malcolm. Malcolm's gone. I flip. Oh, there's Glinthorn.
I think you might be right,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so fascinating. Yeah, because you're right. It's that you're I I bet you're
Yeah.
always casting Malcolm first. Because unless
It
you're
it
on
makes the
like
mana, right? It
yeah,
makes the mana in
unless
case
you're on
you ever
like
need to cast something.
Cryptolith, right? But then yeah, that's gonna be so much slower. That's like back when Blood Pod used to be a thing, like
So
Tim Tana.
here's a question. Instead of Glinthorn, because I do kind of like the idea of 3 creatures because it is so creature reliant, would you guys think that a better creature in this situation would be Hullbreaker Horror or Mike and Raffi? Right?
Wait. They have haste, right?
They do. And
That's
then
so
you
good.
just
Do
go
it.
get the.
That's so
Absolutely. I'm
good.
so into that. I was watching a game the other day. It must have been Spike Feeders. And I watched Alex pop off on that. And the first game was just it was he hosed them like turn two,
Yeah.
Mike and Raffi, he flipped, and it's a very cool deck. The idea of polymorphing and hitting Mike and Raffi, you're like, sweet, I'm still golden because now I will just go find my other piece, right? It'll either
Yeah.
be Prismari or it'll be Niv Mizzet, and
Yeah.
you're not sad about either hit. Whereas like here currently, I think you're a little sad if you hit Glinthorn and now you have a target on your back and everybody knows like,
Yeah.
oh, Thomas has 5 mana, he's going to be casting Malcolm his next turn, or somehow you have to try to cast it that turn, but you just spent potentially 4 on polymorph, or 5 on reality scramble, which is always feels bad.
That's so interesting. Yeah, there's a couple things. I love that so much, Thomas. That's such a
Dude,
good.
that's Mike and Raffi would be
Yeah.
hot.
Something that stands out to me is what one of and China will say this one of the biggest flaws that Malcolm Kedis polymorph has is that you have the one game plan and you're committed to it come hell or high water, and you literally are not allowed to let Niv Mizzet die, which can put you in some really strange situations where sometimes you have to die on like basically ant hills to avoid like taking yourself out of the game. But because you're on Guy's Blessing, there's a world where someone just like slaughter packs or snuffs out Niv Mizzet. You mystical tutor, get Guy's Blessing, cast it, then you swing with Ralph, and then you're able to keep kind of like putting them back onto the battlefield, even if they get removed. I also like the idea that like there's gonna be hands where you just make like a ton of mana. And Ralph and Mikey give somewhere for that mana to go in a way that's not going to draw a ton of cards for like Rhystic Study or like a fish. That's so interesting. Because at first I would have thought like, oh, well, if you're gonna put Ralph and Mikey in to hit like Niv Mizzet or like Prismari, just hit like Niv Mizzet or Prismari. But
Yeah.
surprisingly, even though Ralph and Mikey is extremely turbo coded, I feel like it actually is going to give you a pretty extreme amount of redundancy and let you kind of like fire off this combo like multiple times, even if there's a lot of dedicated creature mover at the table. That's so
Yeah.
interesting.
Because we're not seeing a ton of Swords to Exile these days. So
No. What about cutting your hack effects for a model of the mixture?
Ooh,
Model
ooh,
finds oath. And since you're like,
Yeah.
and since this deck is oath for you, right? And being in Temur, our tutors are limited, right? In terms of
I like that a lot, actually, because it's
it's
really hard to interact
Yeah.
with. I know that we've spent too much time on my deck, and there's
No.
one more card I
Not
want to point
possible.
out
Not
before we
possible.
move on.
Yeah.
I think Resonating Loot is
Yes.
a very cool card.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
It's expensive to come down, but lands being able to tap for 2 mana for instants and sorceries, I think is just really cool in this deck.
You're making me really want to play this.
This is really cool. I
This is
knew
really
it.
cool.
Yeah, I knew it.
You know me. You know me.
We're
Like I'm
such a sucker for Secret
sucker.
Commander, Liz.
Oh my
I
God,
was
it's
telling
so
these
cool.
guys before we started recording, I was like, I think I want to put this together for like Lobby
Yeah.
Combat Siege.
Yeah, plus it's on Keen Sense. Y'all, it's on Keen Sense.
Sense.
Ah! Vile Thrash wishes it could do this. No, Muddle the
Absolutely
Mixture,
wishes
Muddle the
it
Mixture
could.
is so good. Because
Yeah,
it also
Muddle the
bridges
Mixture.
because that also bridges to the more traditional side of like if you're against like 2 Gitrog players and I don't know, a third Gitrog player, I guess. You can also just go straight for Underworld Breach lines.
Yeah.
I've got to find an Oath of Druids now. Ah,
So
damn.
cool. That's so cool.
They're cheap. They're so cheap. You can get them for
And
like
it gets imposter mech too. Oh, that's so cool. So if someone else
This
is
is
playing a
really
Magda,
cool, Thomas.
yeah. All right, guys. We're going to move on to our final list now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You've given me some cards that are really good swaps, and I think that this can be made a little bit more real, or at least a little bit less questionable. All right. So, Temur Pirates. The implication in the name is that it's like Grixis Pirates, but in different colors and with less pirates.
Also could be a modern baseball album name.
Dude, Modern Baseball came to town and I didn't learn about it until the day after. I
I
was
know,
so
me too. I was
bummed.
so
That's such a
sad.
bummer.
Yeah, it's as much as I love CDH YouTube, there's also a modern baseball mini documentary on YouTube that people should go watch. It's
Oh,
so good.
dude, please send that my way. I love
It's
Modern
incredible.
Baseball.
It's really good.
This it's similar to guys. The inception for this list was Thomas in a group chat saying, "Guys, I have an idea." But spiritually, this extends back to when me and Yahhhhh were once kind of putting Rogthrast together, and we wanted to do more like green kind of lands untappy stuff. And at the time, I was running Magus of the Candelabra and Lumra, not just because you can like make a bunch of mana off Lotus Cobra and then get access to all the utility of your tapped lands, but also because my experience running Candle Effects was that it doubled the amount of like Swan Songs and Fluster Storms at the table. Because it's like almost a meme in CDH of like, oh, I have interaction if someone can like untap me a land and draw me a card. Uh, and like having a list that's able to do one of those lets you get out of like a lot of really sticky situations, and people will like protect your untap effects that combo with Kiki Jiki or Pod while you get the first half down in the battlefield. So that's when I first started really enjoying some of the politicky effects of cards like Hyrax Tower Scout jumping in and hitting like a Fey Baroa Elders to give like Sisay like a wood attempts to force a draw. But also after that iteration of Rogthrast, the next list I put together was actually one that I brewed with the casting cost guys, where it was Birthing Pod Sisay, which continues to be on Play Nice, my highest performing list ever. And what I learned from that is that like Birthing Pod lines have the capacity to be so low to the ground. And then also based off of the color shell that you're in, they have like an incredible redundancy and a huge amount of flexibility. And so that kind of like freedom to have all my combo pieces also be like interaction pieces, and just having ways of dumping like a ton of mana was really attractive to me. And so that was kind of what led me to this. So you're on some like I don't want to say they're like bad cards, but they're not exactly good cards like Vivian on the Hunt or Tezzeret the Seeker. Once those hit the stack, people kind of know where you're going. It's really hard to bury the lead on those. But then you're on Corridor Monitor, you're on Formidable Speaker, you're on Pestermite. Shout out to the Dogthrast Discord for putting me onto that one. And I just like
So
the
cool.
idea of being able to turn some mana into more mana and essentially do like kind of tutor chains, but also never needing to commit to a combo itself. So if I'm going to like Prime Speaker Vanifar, like a Malcolm, and so I'm putting like a search for 4 on the stack. I think I picked the worst possible one because the only one that can hit actually is Phyrexian Metamorph, I think.
I'm not gonna lie. The second I put together that, oh wow, you can just get Prime Speaker Vanifar and then get your Quarter Monitor and then your Pestermite. That's such a cool tutor chain that like
Yeah.
I'd never considered. That's awesome.
That was my experience. And like Sisay is that like people are like, oh, well, they don't have enough mana to like, oh, you can't get Kiki. Like there's no 4 that like untaps. And like, well, no, but I can get Prime Super Vanguard. This list I think definitely could also be on Marvin Murderous Mimic, as well as absolutely it could be on that 2 CMC green creature that just got spoiled from Marvel.
That's pushed. It's so pushed.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the I was commiserating with one of my friends because I was also thinking about putting this list together, and then a certain 5-color commander got released, and I was like, I feel like none of the brewing that I do in the next 3 weeks matters because I'm about to be playing. Like, I really thought like 2 and 3 color turbo was gonna have more of the summer to kind of like dominate. And Watsy really nipped that one in the bud.
Yeah,
What
Um,
one
about a
cost.
one CMC? Oh my
Yeah,
yeah, that
yeah,
all of it.
and in
Um,
white, because why not? You know.
why
yeah,
not?
yeah. I have Orm's Chant available every turn from turn one, and then a pretty similar return to the list, pretty similar sorcery and instant package that we saw from you guys. I think that if we were going to try and distill like a quote unquote like teamer, no bad cards in within the frame of like sorceries and instants, I think this would mostly meet that with the exception of Bring to Light, which I just have been trying to shove into a list and resolve for about 2 years now. And as soon as I do, I'll be like, well, now I see why only Cody runs it. Okay.
Well, you get to make a ton of treasures here, so your Bring to Light can get a 5 cost.
Yeah. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. That hadn't occurred to me. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, wow. I really just thought it was hard luck to 3. That's so fun. That's that literally never occurred to me. And then yeah, artifacts and enchantments are very like clean, I guess, with the exception of like Birthing Pod. There's nothing I think would be too surprising. Lance package is disappointingly normal.
Yeah.
So I think most of what this deck does that's interesting is in the creature pile. But I think mulliganing it and having played lists like this, I think I really enjoy the versatility of them. And like having pod effects are surprisingly like forgiving. Like if you play like a birthing pod and someone's like, you can sacrifice like Tana and just go get Kiki Jiki right now. I'd be like, okay, well, what if I just sacrifice this Elvish Mystic and I go get like a librarian or stuff like that? I think it's
Yeah.
really, really easy to kind of like downshift it. And then especially if you're willing to start making conversations of like, oh, if you swing out, you know, if I'll just swing my prime speaker like into you and you can block it with your librarian that's like an 8/8, and then like my only way of getting it back later is like shifting woodlands, is that like amenable to you? And so I think that like based off its like combo nature, it was surprisingly more amenable in Rogthras and Sisay to be able to politic around it. And so kind of being strapped for like silence effects or for like some of the really really big mana generators like Smothering Tithe, it seemed like a nice way of kind of like bridging the two worlds. I think I also would agree with Yahhhhh though. I think if I were gonna like play a list, I would definitely go for Thomas's. I promise we didn't
It's too early. It's too early. It's too early.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'll just tuck that away for later. Okay. Tell Thomas you'll play his list. Do
You know
you
what
guys
I
have any notes?
think would be actually really sick in this list? Transit Mage.
Whoa! Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
Animar
agree.
players.
I think you could play a 4-drop you could play it very easily. It gets you your birthing pod directly to the table, and you
Yeah,
can turn that directly into your Kiki Jiki. So it's basically 7 mana wins you the game right on the spot.
that's so good. Oh, Transit Mage is a 3.
Yeah, it's a 3.
Ooh, I get it
So
was a 4. That's a huge bummer, but it does get the birthing pod to it. Okay, okay,
yep. And yeah, with it just maths out to pretty much an instant win.
okay.
Um,
Maybe cut Facebreaker then. Facebreaker or Ewit, I feel like are two of the kind of like they're just like quote unquote like good value cards.
But I think that would probably help. This is just a solid list from like top to bottom. I really
Yep,
like
very,
Prime Speaker
very.
Vanifer here. I think that goes so it's like I wasn't lying earlier. The second that I realized that that works with Quarter Monitor and Pestermite, it like just scratched an itch in my brain I didn't know I
Yeah.
was missing.
it's
Um,
it's really good.
I really, really like that. And I like that you could turn the Pestermite into that Transit Mage.
Yeah, I think that like the more I look at this, the more I think there's a very very solid world where I get like a Marvin Murderous Mimic, especially because then you can like birthing pod for the Prime Speaker Vanifar, eat the Prime Speaker with Marvin to go get Kiki.
Yeah. Oh, that's hot.
Ooh, that is hot.
I'm at it in. I'm at it in.
Yeah, you absolutely. Outside of that, I do think that Bring to Light is a garbage tutor in general. don't get me wrong, but I do think that in this list specifically,
It makes a lot of
it
sense.
makes a ton of sense. You're making a lot of treasures, and it can get your Kiki Jiki directly into play. It can get your Zealous Constructs. It can get more cards than most lists can use that Bring to Light for.
Mhm.
So I think it's a cool include. He can only go so wrong when Breach is your backup plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the really nice thing about having access to cards like Formidable Speaker and like clone effects is that you're able to just like chain a bunch of stuff together. That was something I was thinking about for your list actually, Yaw, is wondering if Natural Order might be a good hit for you because you can
Yeah, I
Elvish
can see that.
Mystic into Formidable Speaker. If you want to, you can even like discard the Magda itself, so you can protect it by only using it via like shifting woodlands or kind of stuff. But just things like that. Like I think that like
It's
once
really cool.
once that 2 CMC green creature comes out, I could see this list being on Natural Order for sure. Because being able to spend 4 mana and then just being able to activate all of the abilities at instant
Oh,
speed.
Shang-Chi.
Oh,
Yeah,
is this his Soul Cauldron deck?
Oh, is it? No, Temur. Oh man, that's so sad.
Are you a dad?
I think it's supposed to be Soul Cauldron, and I think I'm supposed to cut Bring to Life for it.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's so sad, but probably correct. That's okay. I have a Portuguese pre-release that
I see.
that'll make me feel better. Firestorm I just put in because it's
It's
been
so
a
good.
card that's been overperforming. That's 100% a card that like I would put it in the same category as honestly Bridget, or like when it started getting popular I was like, okay, come on guys, like
Are you
it's
ever going to
cool,
have
it's
enough
cool.
cards in your deck for Firestorm to perform, or in your hand for
No,
Firestorm to perform here, though?
I don't know. That's like I think I pretty much exclusively put it in because it's been performing really well in other lists, but those are way more Ristic and Fish coded,
Yeah.
namely Ruggish Eye. So I don't know. Maybe Bring to Light lives to see another dawn.
I feel like you're
Um,
just dumping your hand on like turn one,
that's
but
the hope. Yep, this list is a big dumpy, that's for sure.
I think it's cool, Eric. Give yourself some credit.
Thanks. I'm trying to think. Do you think it should be on more copy effects? That'd be another question. I'm always wondering when you're in Teamer because you have the ability to like. Because I'm not on Clever Impersonator, but there's a world where I have a ton of mana. I'm staring down the barrel of like 8 counter spells. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna resolve and go get like a something for value. Like I'm just gonna get something that like draws me cards. Clever Impersonator, it's a ristic. I'm also
You're a
not in Flash
little soft to
Photography.
like Bowmaster, so having like an additional clone's not the worst idea in the world. Yeah.
Okay, so here I'll cut Firestorm, and then here I'm gonna put you guys on the spot. Flash Photography or Clever Impersonator? Which one is going in?
Clever Impersonator. I hate Flash Photography's art. That's
I knew
it.
that was coming. Actually, I knew that was coming. Yeah, okay, I can agree
Oh,
with
that's
that.
why I feel the same
Cover
way
and
about
process.
intuition. I've resolved one intuition, and I think 2.5 years of playing CDH. It is purely because I hate the art on the card.
Yeah, I
It's
blanked
bad.
out my copy of Flash Photography back when they were $7, and I feel a little bit bad about it now.
That's so fun. Yeah, they're really expensive now. Yeah, I think I got mine for 15, so I was pretty lucky.
All right, guys. Any final notes on Eric's before we talk about which decks we'd like to play moving forward?
No, this one is a very, I think, solid list up and down.
Yeah, I completely agree. I actually think all three of these lists are pretty cool.
Some more
And
cooler than others. We can say that. I can say that.
you can say that. All right. Yeah. What deck would you like to play moving forward?
The emo titled the second one. Yours,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like you as soon as you suggested Raph and I suggested cutting the Buccaneer, and when you mentioned Raph and Mikey, you had me. You just had me. You had my heart. So yeah, that one. Like I'm legit looking at it right now. I may have duplicated your list and have already started tinkering with it a little bit based off of cards I know I have right now in this room somewhere.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm looking at my copy of Lightning Rig Crew right now. So
Yeah.
That's sick.
I
All
would
right, guys.
definitely jump in and agree with Yacht as well. I think that like something I really, really like about Yah's list is I think I would probably take Yah's list out of these three if I was looking to like if we're going to a tournament and I'm like, it's been a while since I've made Top Cut. I wanna eat everybody's lunch in
Mhm.
Swiss because you have so many different angles of approach that I think that if people are very, very terrified of like a specific line, like you have so many different ways of like pivoting. Plus, you have like a lot of protective pieces like Sylvan Safekeeper. I do think that, like, for instance, though, if I were like going to a tournament like I did last weekend at Just Jam D Grid, and I was like, I want to have the most fun, I want to do the coolest things, and I want to put as many cards on the stack as possible that my opponents have to pick up and read, I would definitely play Thomas's list. I
I
love,
agree.
love, love a good polymorph strategy. It always just fills my heart with joy. But also, you've got a really, really strong use of the Temur shell, and I think that you've kept it as much as possible to like the flavorful cards that you're adding for like fun are cards that have really, really high levels of synergy. Like Resonating Loot, I think is like a great example um, of like not only is it going to go absolutely bonkers with Prismari and Niv Mizzet out, but also it's going to do a lot to help you get those cards out. And so it's going to work like both with the A and the B part of your combo. And like I think these are very, very important times to also be very, very comfortable sitting behind a Ristic and winning for your window. And I think out of the three lists, this is the one most comfortable doing that. So your odds of just getting absolutely bodied by like a blue farm are lower than I think with the other two lists. So I like the fact that it both has like a level like consistency,
Huh?
but also the highs that you're gonna experience, I think are those are some pretty big highs, dude.
Yeah.
Prismari, I would like to cast flash photography.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Like the
God.
result of a storm
Oh
trigger.
no. Uh,
uh,
for like a vibe night where it's like a beers and pretzel night, I want to play my list. I think
Yeah,
that that is
absolutely.
the vibe for this, and I think that would be a fun time. But I kind of disagree with you. I think this feeds the heck out of Heuristic, in a way
man.
that the other two don't. And if I'm playing into a pod with a Raw Ishai, I'm losing that game. Like that they can have my lunch money.
You,
I'm
you just
I'm
you
not
just
even
have
going to fight back.
you just have to be able to priority bully them, have already flash photography, a smothering tithe, and have multiple copies of board in your list, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah. If I'm going to the Siege this coming weekend, I'm taking Yas list. I think that once the Kiki Jiki stuff is cut, this is a solid list that could
Mhm,
top 16 a tournament.
mhm.
All right, guys.
Absolutely, yeah.
This was so much fun.
Ah,
Like, this
gravel.
was so much fun.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Before we say goodbye, Eric, starting with you, would you like to show for anything?
Yeah. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please demand that everyone's bad at magic have me and y'all back on. I want to see you guys rioting in the streets. If I don't see torches and pitchforks in the comments, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it's gonna be bombastic and annoying. I don't know what color cell we should do next. Honestly, I think that like Naya could be interesting. But not getting to it. So I had so much fun. If you guys are here, you probably already know about Everyone's Bad at Magic, and that's a good card. But both of those are shows I'd highly, highly recommend watching. I think I don't watch much CEH content these days, but when I do, it's not because I want more information about cards or because I want to like learn like a specific strategy, but more so it's the humanity and the person behind the magic card. And I think both of your channels do a fantastic job of doing that. And once you've gone through all of those, YouTube libraries, and now you're an incredible CDH player, come and take down the siege. Come and take down me and the rest of the crit guys. Either watch the stream or heaven forbid you bring one of these lists and just be a part of what CDH is happening in Colorado. So either if you want to play in the crit league or there's just so many different ways to engage with CDH, and so those are all the different things I would chill. So just quit your job, spend all your time online, and just consume a lot of CDH content. That's what I recommend.
Played my first Kurt League game. It was a lot of fun. It's a great
Heck
community.
yeah,
Should do
heck
it.
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah. You got anything you'd like to show for?
I think I would like to show for the idea that if you are listening, if you somehow got to the end of this episode, I think, and I actually feel really comfortable speaking for the three of us here. Take your idea and run with it. right?
Yeah.
Like, don't just play a slave to the meta necessarily.
Mhm.
I have definitely played my fair share now of meta decks. They're fun. Don't get me wrong. I love them. Like, I know Eric has gone through that. I know Thomas has done a little bit of it as well. But take your idea and run with it, right? Play around with it. Do know what the meta is, right? I think the big thing I took away from our discussion here is like, it is so we were also cooked into our kind of meta. Like you both kind of play in that more Denver kind of sloppy. You want to be aware, whereas like I don't. I'm just going to, if I can't get that win, I guess I'll just sit here and play hot shots on my PSP. That kind of a jam. And so if you want to talk about cool cards, come listen to a podcast called That's a Good Card. You can find us on most of the places. Otherwise, like Eric said, you're already listening to this. Go listen to and keep up to date on what's happening in Magic with Critical's one of my favorite shows, Keeping Tabs. Right, it has been really cool to hear two channels from the Colorado area. This channel, Everybody's Band of Magic, and Critical, kind of just really shed more light on the people that keep us interested in the game. Right, the game is great, but the people are better, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on what you should do and how you could find us.
Well, love you both. Thank you so much. This was exactly what I wanted this to be, and could not be more happy. And if you stayed with us this long, please consider giving this episode a like, follow, or subscribe, depending on how you found us. Check out our Discord and socials in the link below. And if you're interested in one of our play mats featuring this sick logo from Fox
So good.
Tattoos, let us know. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to each other. It's just a game.
So true.
I actually can't remember your outro, so that was my take on it. Use that.
That's the outro now. We're not putting the music on.
That's the outro.
That's the outro.
Chef's
I'm so
kiss.
sorry, everybody.